Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint a blue flower. We're going to be doing it step by step from start to finish tonight. I've got my husband, Mark, with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's now in chat for our live show, so if you've got questions while I'm painting, you can ask them and I'll try to answer them. Let's get started. Alrighty, I'm going to be using a 9 by 12 inch canvas today. This is the Belgian Linen Pro series from Fredrix. Their canvas, archival canvas board. You might have a hard time finding these right now because I just tried to reorder and they're running low, I think because of COVID. But you can use whatever size you want. I'm using up the last of my supply here until I can get more, hopefully soon. So thank you to Fredrix. They're my canvas sponsor and they're awesome to work with. We love their products. Somebody asked why Fredrix is such a big deal. And I'm like, well, they've been making canvases for 150 years. So they kind of know what they're doing by now. So, all right. Number 10, Bright Summit, number 6, Filbert, and the number 6, Angled Bright. These are the Summit line and Princeton brushes. And then the red handles are their VelvetTouch, Princeton VelvetTouch line. And I've got the 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch angles, and then a number 3 round, a 3/0 round, which is just a tiny little round, and then a number 1 round. So we'll see. I didn't do those in order, obviously. Sorry. It's all mixed up there, but we're just going to use just a round brush for some of the smaller details, and then the angle brushes will help us get into, into the nooks and crannies. This will be a really good lesson for glazing. So if you have wanted to learn glazing and didn't know what it was about, this one we're going to be doing a lot of glazing on. So I think it'll be a good one to learn that for you. And then we're going to go pretty fast tonight. I've already got it drawn out. I'm not going to go over the drawing really. It's basically this bottom quarter from about the halfway mark to the quarter mark. Here is this whole center part of the flower. It's at an angle. We're just seeing it from kind of the side, and lots of little tiny little, oval shaped. I don't even know what these are. Dealy-wops, and then the petals come out from this point right here. So at the bottom of the flower, they're all going to be coming out and up to the side, and they go off the canvas. So really the only one that we're seeing the entire ones of are like these 3 here, and then the rest of them are kind of just coming from that point out and spreading out off the canvas. So, all right. It wasn't a very hard drawing, huh? Yes, let's go over our colors. Sorry. Carbon black, burnt umber, quinacridone burnt orange, cadmium yellow medium and light, phthalo blue green shade, ultramarine blue, that's going to be our main color, dioxazine purple, quinacridone magenta, and this is unbleached titanium and titanium white, and I've got a little bit of gloss glazing liquid for later. So I'm starting with the white canvas because I want this blue to be vivid, even though it's a black background. We're going to paint around it. I want that blue to be really bright and vivid. So we're going to start out with just the straight up ultramarine blue here. I'm going to get some water on my brush. This is the larger flat here, the 10 bright. And just adding a little bit of water. You can see that I'm kind of just adding it, and I don't mix it into this because I don't want to make a big puddle right here. And I don't want to disturb the paint back here. So I'm going to pull it from the front here, kind of scoop up a little bit and bring it to a clean spot on my palette here. And then I'm just dipping in the kind of the corner of my brush to introduce a little bit of water there. That's good. Just want it to be kind of thin enough that, yeah, I can brush it on. I don't want it to be, this ultramarine blue color is transparent. You can see as I'm brushing it on, I'm seeing a lot of the canvas through, which is fine. We're just going to probably need a couple coats on here. So I'm just going to go ahead and get going on that.
Needed a coat this morning here.
Your brush, is that your... my phone again. Okay, I don't know what the deal is there.
So would answer, no, it's not my phone.
No, it's not. And I'm really getting upset because I've got somebody calling. I can't I don't know what app. I don't know what it is. It's somebody trying to call me on my phone, but it's not through my phone.
That we don't know.
I don't know. I don't know who it is, and I don't know how they're getting through.
But anyways,
so sorry.
back
I've
to
been
coats.
dealing it with all of.
We needed a coat here. It was a beautiful fall morning.
It was nice. It was. So yeah, I'm going to give it a couple of coats here, and I'm just putting it on in the direction that I'm seeing the petals grow. So from the center out to the tip here, and just trying to smooth it out so I have kind of a nice smooth coverage there. I'm going to let that set and get some more. Yeah, sorry about that interruption there. Need to figure out what that is to block it.
But anyway, so I did try to talk her out of doing the show tonight because it was too nice.
Yeah, he was all day long. He's like, I don't think we need to do the show tonight. I think I'm gonna play it. I think I'm feeling coming down with a cold.
Yeah, I was gonna call in sick.
And then he's allowed to call in sick.
And then I said the traffic was backed up. Even though I'm
from the backyard to the studio.
It's a long walk from the back porch to here.
I'm trying to get down in here. I'm painting around all these gold things here that I took the time to draw out, so I don't want to have to do that again. Yep. It's been, fall has arrived here at least this week. Now in Arkansas, you never know because it's probably going to change next week. Hopefully not, because we're going to be doing our yard sale, but you never know. All right, I'm smoothing it out as I go here. And then I'm going to just add a tiny bit of purple in the corner here for this little area here because I want it to be just a little bit different color since it's kind of overlapped right here. Okay. You can see how pretty this color is going on to this white canvas. If we had it on top of the black, it would not really show up at all on top of black. This color is so dark, and since it is transparent, that black would shine through, and so all you would see is basically a really, really dark, maybe a little bit of blue, but mostly black would just be shown through. So that's why we're starting with the white canvas today. If you did have a black canvas that you were starting with, I mean, there is a workaround. You could paint this in with some white in the blue paint here, or even paint white over the petals where you want the blue to be brighter, and then paint the blue, the brighter blue on top. So I got halfway through that sentence and I wasn't sure where I was going with it. So it's like leave the room and forget.
Words.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to paint and say words. It's not easy. Forgive me. So welcome if you're new to our channel. I haven't said that yet. Hope you enjoy it. And welcome to those who are not new to our channel and came back for more punishment. We appreciate it.
Hello.
You're the real rock stars.
That's right.
Coming back week after week. Hang out with us. It's awesome.
From all over the place.
We've gotten to know some of you over the years. It's been pretty cool. I love doing these live shows. I, tell people, I mean, like, I get asked sometimes, like, it doesn't it make you nervous painting live? And I'm like, well, kind of, I mean, if I like stop to really think about it, it does. But I mean, I've been teaching for painting for about 30 years plus maybe, and teaching for most of that time in different capacities. And so teaching live is much more normal for me than recording. It always felt a little artificial to be talking to myself in a room by myself, while I was painting. So doing these live shows is a lot more natural for me, and I really love it. And I'll get to interact with you guys and chat and all that fun stuff. So it's pretty great. And it's good for my extroverted personality to be like connected with people, especially right now.
So that's why she sits over there, paints by herself,
Mhm.
while I, the introvert, chat with people in the world.
Exactly.
It makes perfect sense.
Hey, it works. Mark can be introverted all he wants. He doesn't actually have to like see anybody.
That's right.
And he doesn't have to chat if he doesn't want to. If he doesn't want to chat, he just doesn't chat. So
That's true. That's
pretty
true.
like the best of both worlds for an introvert.
You need to stop giving all my secrets away.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny that, well, I guess somebody has to be, it's good to have, opposites in a marriage. We found somebody who likes to go out and do stuff, and somebody can be around people, and somebody who doesn't. We do the night. I do the night. Mark does the mornings. It works out. It works out.
I do coffee. She does tea.
Yep. We've got all the bases covered. Mark likes the cat. I like the dog.
See?
Except for the dog is adopted Mark as his favorite person and annoys him to the no end. And I think that he's just on a campaign to get Mark to like him. I think it's working, maybe a little bit. So we'll see. Jerry's out.
He's a good dog.
He is. He's a sweetie. But it's like we'll be on the couch, and who is he sitting on? Not me. He's over on Dad's lap. Well, especially most of the time when Mark's trying to play these video games, mostly he's like, I think you need to have me on your lap instead. Which, in fairness, the cat does too, so. Mark cannot play video games in peace around here. All right, just putting on these coats. Nothing new here, so. We like to chat. I know we get a lot of comments about more instructionless chat. But trust me, if you've been if you're painting for 2 hours, there's only so many times you can repeat yourself. So if you listen to the whole thing, you'll catch all the instructions.
You have to watch all 400 and some odd videos and catch the 3 minutes of instruction out of each one, stitch it together, and there you go.
And then you'll have, that's not right. I'm just saying
That's not how it works.
When I first start, doing something, and then I repeat myself. So just doing the same thing for all these petals. So nothing new here to talk about.
Just painting stuff.
Just painting. But you notice I'm smoothing out in between the layers. I'll put the paint on and then I kind of smooth it out at the end there before I move on. And that allows me to, like when I do my next layer, I won't have any ridges that I have to work around. If I left, a really heavy, thick area of paint somewhere, when it dries solid. This is like plastic that we're dealing with. Basically, acrylics are plastic with pigment in them, and so they're going to dry hard, and then you will end up having a line where maybe you don't want one, maybe you do, but since I like to do so many layers, I like to have smooth layers in between. I just find that it's easier to layer when you're not fighting against ridges and things that you've created from other layers.
Okay, people that are just popping in, what color are you painting right now?
Ultramarine Blue. Ultramarine.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What?
That was so polite of you.
Well, I wasn't sure why you said thank you. So.
Because it was just thank you for putting up with me, for not paying attention to anything that you're saying.
Oh, I see. That was a guilty thank you. That was I probably should know this, thank you, but
I should be listening while you talk about the brush sizes and colors, but
blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
Color, blah, blah, blah. Yep. All right, so mixing just a little bit of the Quinacridone Magenta here on my brush. I'm going to kind of use it on this overlap section right here, just to kind of, and I'm going over the line. I'm not worried about that because it's going to all be painted in black, so it's not a big deal. All right, looking good. Oh, I missed one. Not good. All right, I'm going to get a little bit of purple because this one's pretty dark. Do that here. And really, you could, if you don't want to do paint around these little yellow things, you could paint your petals in all the way to the middle, and then do the petals at the very end, or do the little yellow things on top at the very end. But paint around them. Somebody said they were watching the coffee mug painting on Saturday, and their husband walked in and was like, "That doesn't look anything like the picture." And she was like, "Yeah, you just wait. It will." She's just blocking it in right now. Like, thank you. So if you're looking at this now and you're going, "Yeah, that's not right," then that's pretty normal. Like, every painting goes through what I call ugly stage. It's going to get kind of awkward in here and not look like you're going to probably question whether you're doing it right about here. So, and just kind of know that it'll get better as we go on. We'll be adding more layers and it'll all make sense in the end, but you just kind of have to stick with me through these kind of sections where things are not quite looking. Really, it's not looking that bad, but all right, that is already dry, so we're just going to go ahead and kind of start working back around, work our way back around. I'm going to switch to a little bit smaller brush now. This is the 6 Filbert, and now I'm going to be starting to look at where I'm seeing the shading. So I'm going to get the the Ultramarine Blue here, and I'm going to lay it on fairly thickly. This second coat will really darken up that color, make it much more vibrant. And then where I want it darker, I'm going to go ahead and put this color on all the way in this area here and try to get it on thick enough that I have a little bit of time to work with it. So a little bit thicker than we put it on the first time. And you can do this in sections, so you don't have to do the whole petal here. I'm trying to get it all on here. And I'm going to get the purple, mix that in. Just right in here, there's this dark area. Put that dark purple where I want that crease to be. And then there's kind of another one right over here. And so I'm going to put the color on kind of thick right there. And then I'm going to wipe my brush through, get a little bit more of that ultramarine blue, but have very little paint on my brush. And now I'm going to wipe through and blend in this color. Just kind of pull it through. Try not to go over too heavily on that purple area because I want it to move. I don't want to take off any color. I just want to kind of blend out the edges. Okay, so when I get to about right there, I'm going to wipe this brush off and get just the blue. Brush back up through. I'm pretty happy with that, I think.
Someone has asked, does this qualify for the large flower series?
I think so. I think it's in the same style. It's not going to be exactly the same as the rest of them, but it's going to be close. All right, so I'm going to get a little bit of the ultramarine blue here with some white and just a little bit of white. I don't want to overpower it and make it chalky, but I need a little bit of white right in here. Right up next to where that purple was. I might go a little bit lighter than I think I need to, and then I can glaze back over this. Okay, here we go. And I'm probably going to need to do this a couple of times, so just move on. I think I'm going to go a little bit thinner this time with this area here. So I'm going to get a little bit of white. And the ultramarine blue. And then right in here, this whole area is pretty dark. So I'm going to get a little bit of purple, and I'm even going to get a little bit of the black. I'm going to make a color. This is really kind of a almost Prussian blue. Well, the Prussian blue's got a little bit more, maybe closer to like Payne's gray. Payne's gray, so the black and blue and ultramarine blue. There we go.
Okay, remember my job is to keep you on track tonight, so.
Okay. What time are we at?
24 past.
Oh, wow. Okay. I need to go faster then. Okay, that's good. Let's keep moving on then. Paint in this area that's nice and dark. That area is almost black. Especially right in here, too. So you put the color on, and then you just kind of swipe back through it to kind of take off and blend in the color. Then I'm going to get more of the ultramarine. And pull down. Okay. And then we've got some more of the lighter color right in here. So I'm going to get some of this ultramarine blue and white. Add it in right here. Really should have started this way because we're overlapping in the opposite direction. So I've been smarter to do it that way. Okay, getting some of the lighter color.
I've never been accused of that. So
being smart.
Right.
Okay. Putting some more white back on just so that I can glaze over it later. So, like, why are you doing that? You just covered up all that blue. We're going to put blue back over it. But I want it to be a little bit brighter right there. So, just need it a little bit lighter right there, and then I can go back over it later. Do the same thing right there. Okay. Ultramarine blue.
Man, I got you focused now.
I know. Now I'm like not talking at all.
You're like, this is a competition.
Competition with the clock.
That's right.
I gotta get it done.
But that's okay. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay.
I plan on being here probably another 40, 50 years.
Good.
So take your time. Life's too short to be anxious about anything like this. Okay, well then paint faster, darn it. Stop talking. No.
Okay.
That was my mean voice for everybody.
Yeah. I told him to keep me on track tonight because I was like, this one could go long if I don't. keep track of time. I get caught up in painting and I lose track of time. It's a pretty common problem for artists in general. If you've ever painted, you can lose a couple hours easy. But that's the fun of it. And that's why it's so good for your mental health too, because it kind of takes your mind off everything that's going on and gives you some downtime. All right, so down in here, I don't want to go too dark on this, so I'm going to use a little bit of glaze with my Ultramarine Blue. And this one will give me a second coat, but it'll be thin, and then I'll still see that white of the canvas shining through some. And then that way I don't have to put that white down that I was doing on these other ones. Getting ridges in this one. I'm trying to smooth them out.
Yeah, they're not ruffles.
Is that a...
It was a commercial
joke?
Yeah, and the commercial said ruffles have ridges. Obviously, you read too much and don't spend enough time watching TV, so...
That's not true.
You're not smart like me.
No, sadly. I posted, I don't know, earlier this year when COVID just barely first hit, and I found myself spending a lot of time on the couch watching TV, and Netflix, gives you that prompt, like, are you still watching this? Like, shouldn't you be doing something else by now? I just always I felt a little insulted, and then somebody said that every time they get that prompt, their daughter and her friends are like, yes, we are, because we're not quitters. It's like, okay, I like that philosophy. So, yeah. Don't judge, Netflix. Don't judge.
Exactly. You don't know me. Or actually, you do. That's why you suggest a lotion.
I know.
That's kind of creepy.
It's scary.
Just stop it.
No. Yeah. Okay, got a little bit dark right there. Now this area is going to be real dark, but I'm just going to put that in later with glazing. Making pretty good progress around this. It's definitely not dark enough there either, so we'll go back in through. This is the only one that seems like it got dark enough. We'll go back through and add more dark stuff later.
Do we know what kind of flower this is?
I think it's an anemone. I think it's the same kind that I've already painted one for the large flower series, but I liked this version of it, so it's one of my favorite flowers. I got them for myself for Valentine's Day this year. Not a lie.
I have nothing to say, actually.
True story.
True dat. Yep. And you were happy.
I was happy.
See?
I accidentally saw what Mark was going to order me for flowers, and I was like, are you? That's not what I asked for. He's like, well, I couldn't find it. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll order it myself.
I had taken screen grabs, and she was looking through my phone at different pictures and stuff.
Of Liam, yeah, we were looking.
And then she scrolled too far, and then saw those, and she's like, "What are these?" or something like that.
I was like,
"Oh, I don't like these." I'm like, "Oh, well, great. I just ordered them."
Yeah. So how lilies and roses are not the same thing, but you know.
They are flowers.
So
Therefore,
Mark's not in charge of buying me flowers anymore. Therefore, what?
therefore, Mark is happy.
Check that box off. Check.
I did it bad enough that I don't have to do it ever again.
I see where you're, yeah, you got the.
I don't wash your clothes anymore.
No, you don't. I see a pattern here. Yep, it's not allowed within 10 feet of my clothes when they're being washed. Nope. Way too many of my clothes dried on hot heat. Shrunken. Yeah. Washed and dried on hot. You get cleaner that way, right? No comment. He's being very quiet now.
Sorry, I was reading the chat.
Oh.
What was yours?
Nothing.
I missed it completely.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's okay. I was just continuing what we were talking about. All right, adding black here, just blending in them. See now right there, do you see what happened there? I blended back over this area, but it was drying and it lifted. So I'm gonna go back and just very lightly try to put back in that black and not mess with that area until it dries. All right, so now I'm gonna start glazing with the black. I'm going to do one more pass through the whole thing, and I think we should be done after this. One more pass. So what time? Okay.
Can you go a little more detail about what glazing means? You know, what?
Yes. So glazing is just putting on color thinly so that it's transparent. And it can be super thin or it can be a little bit thicker. But basically, we're just adding this glazing medium or water if you don't have glazing medium, but glazing medium is better to use with heavy body acrylics because they don't have as much binder. And so when you thin them out this much where they're transparent like this, they can cause issues with your upper layers. If you're laying on top of them again, they can become under, I can call under binding, where they won't stick to the canvas very well because there's just not enough kind of the glue that is in the acrylic paint. Heavy body acrylics have more pigment than binder. So, or not more, but you know, they're more pigmented than a craft acrylic or something like that. So they can, if you add too much water, they can become unstable. All right, so I'm mostly black, a little bit of blue here. I'm really wanting to go fairly dark, so I've left it quite a lot of the black there. Not as much of the glaze. And I'm just getting down into the cracks now. I've got the 3/8 inch angle brushes, make it real easy to get down in these little crevices. And this is going to dry really quickly. So I've got to move quickly. I'm going to wipe my brush clean and I'm just going to use what's left of this brush dry to pull that paint out and just kind of feather that edge out a little bit. But I want it really dark down in here. And then I'm going to get a little bit more. Get right in here. Kind of pull upward with it. I'm going right along the edge of that highlighted section right here. So I want to leave that highlighted section. That's what's going to make that highlight look like it's folded out towards us a little bit by putting that dark edge right up next to it. Okay, and kind of connect those a little bit right there. Just not as much of the dark back here, but little bit of it. And I'm going to make another glaze with just the ultramarine blue here. And the ultramarine blue on its own is almost like a glaze because it's transparent already. So transparent colors that are already transparent make great glazes because they already have that translucency that we're needing with glazing. So this is where I put that white right there. So I'm going to glaze back over that area with the ultramarine blue. And down in here, maybe get a little bit of the black for just the very bottom of this. Okay, you can see how that, having that light edge, wherever the light edge is where it's going to pop out towards us. Visually curve, use that glaze, just the ultramarine blue here over the top of this white area. If I left it, it kind of gets chalky. So if I just left the white mixed with the blue, it doesn't have a lot of vibrancy. So to get that lighter blue color by glazing back over the almost white here, I'll get much more vivid color. And I'm just using a little bit of the blue just to tint it. All right, I'm going to get some of this black. Go right in here. And now this is already dark, so not having to put a whole lot of this color on to get it to show dark for me. There we go. Wiping that brush out, picking up more of the ultramarine blue. Glaze. I'm using it on this side where I've got the white color. And making sure that I'm not touching into that dark area there because I don't want to lift off any of that color that I just laid down. Now, glaze back over this area a little bit. Okay. All right, so this petal here is almost all dark. I'm going to use this ultramarine blue that I've got in my brush here and just lay it down where I want that glaze over the top of this area. That is still drying, so I can do it down here though. That is still wet right there. Okay. And then getting that ultramarine or that dark black. Just set it down where I want it the darkest, right in that area there. And then I'm just kind of flattening out my brush and just barely dragging it to pull that color up a little bit. Get a little bit of water, wipe my brush out so it's dry but kind of damp, if that makes sense. It's clean but damp. That's what I meant to say. And clean-ish. It's not fully clean, but the idea. There we go. And there's a little bit of the dark coming down from the tip there too, so I'm going to add a little bit of that there and kind of connect those two a little bit and come right up against this one a little bit right here. All right. Good. I'm going to clean up this area because it's kind of all messed up right here. Add a dark color down in there. And then the ultramarine blue. Comes down in. Nope, it's not done yet.
Okay, time's up. On to the next stage, please. Get your pencils down. This is like the SAT.
Uh-huh.
The essay portion is done. Now you got to go on to math.
Oh no, I'm not good at that. Strong suit. Okay, so putting that dark color on the back side of this area here, that's going to pull that one forward. Pretty happy with the rest of this. A little bit of dark on this. Down in here. Okay, getting more of that ultramarine blue. We get a little bit of purple too. See, it won't give it a little bit. Purple tone. I'm gonna go right up in here. Some dark. Really, this whole area here is dark, dark, dark. Wipe that brush. Pull back through so that I can blend that out a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to darken up this area here as it goes off. So that'll make it look like it's curving down away from us. A little bit right here on the tip. And just leave that middle area kind of lighter. It's kind of dark too. I'm almost dry brushing this. My brush is very thinned out. And I'm going to kind of just use the tip of it and draw some lines through. So I'll just kind of hold it in so that the tip is facing out and draw some lines through that lighter area there. I'm going to do the same thing here. Just like lines through here. Keep them fairly subtle. Kind of thinned out paint here. Oopsie, it's lifting off right there because that paint was drying, so I need to put a little bit thicker paint back there and leave it alone. Okay, so looks good.
That's the painting telling you to go to the middle.
Yes, it is.
It is speaking to you.
It's speaking. So move on. All right, so grabbing the Cadmium Yellow medium.
We are on to the Daily Bop painting portion of the show.
Yes, this Daily Bop in the middle here.
For all you botanists out there, or whatever you
Cringing.
call plant people.
Don't leave me comments about it. I get comments all the time. Stuff like that. It's okay. I could look it up if I needed to know.
That's actually a pretty cool effect. How that blue is dragging through the yellow.
Yeah.
That is pretty neat.
Yeah, I thought I might just do the whole thing, but it was kind of lifting off too much of the color. So I'm going to go real quickly, try to get a little bit of that color on there, but I don't want to take off it's because it's a watercolor pencil. That's why it's doing that, because watercolor pencil it dissolves as it gets wet. Here we go. Okay. Adding white to the yellow will help it make it more opaque. So where we've covered over it, like right in there, I'm having to add a lot of white, and I'm definitely going to have to add it to these ones along the outer edge that I've painted over. So I'm just going to switch to my number 3 round here. And I'm going to get some Quinacridone Magenta, a little bit of the Quinacridone Burnt Orange here, and make an orangey color. Quinacridone Magenta, Cadmium Yellow medium, and the Burnt Orange will make a pretty salmon color. Get a little bit more of the magenta there. A little bit more pink. Okay. And then quite a bit of white. There we go. What are you laughing at?
Our friend Dave is trying to stir the pot in chat. He asked do you see blue and black or gold and white?
Oh gosh. That was freaky. I still don't know why that phenomenon was the way it was.
That was weird, yeah.
Really weird.
I thought it was a bunch of malarkey until, because I saw it multiple times and I always saw the same color.
Right.
And then one time I saw it and I saw the other colors and I'm like, wait a minute.
I know. Yeah, that was so weird.
Yeah.
And you and I both, we were looking at it at the same time, and you saw something different and I saw something different. It's like, that is just...
Well, that's just men and women. That's just men and women. We look at the same thing and not see the same thing.
True. Okay, getting some yellow here as I come around. These are getting more yellow, and the closer up ones here. All right, so they're kind of a hot dog shape. The hot dog bun, it's like 2 side by side. They're like a closed hot dog bun. That's what it reminds me of. So it's got a split down the middle. I'm really going to I'm going to actually add a little bit of purple to this color. Over in here, it's like a little bit of, it's like purple and pink with a little bit of yellow. The purple and yellow make a brown, obviously. It made a brown real fast there. So you just have to be careful how much you add. I actually may do this differently. I may just do the, I just may do the yellow and then do the purple on top in a glaze. Maybe get a little bit of this pink in there. Yeah. Get some purple and ultramarine, and some of these down here are really dark. With the ones on the very bottom. Getting that light. Ultramarine blue and purple. There's all kinds of colors in all these, so all just kind of different colored all through here. And I'm going to get that ultramarine blue here and just do this section through here is really dark.
You're not using any of the fluid paints tonight, correct?
No.
So while Angela is
the outside edge here are going to be, sorry, that was perfect timing.
No, you like hadn't said anything for a while. I'm like, okay, well, I'll fill in some dead air space.
Sorry.
You watch me until I pull my microphone up. I know you do.
I do. Like he's about to talk. Let me say something. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. I can't hear you. Okay, you say
just adding white to these ones over here that are out off the edge so that they show up against that dark. So, all right, go.
I was just saying that, to remind everybody that here in a couple days, if you're watching this live, the new month will start of October 2020.
Yes.
And so there'll be an opportunity to join or re-up for Patreon and check out all the traceables, bonus videos, bonus Facebook groups.
Yeah, got all kinds of bonus content that we don't do on YouTube that are available on Patreon. The traceables, like for tonight's video, and all the other ones from 2017 to present are all saved there on Patreon. And it's $2 right now, 2020. I don't know what it'll be in 5 years.
It might be $1 million in 5 years, but we'll see.
If Mark has anything to do with it. Mark's GoFundMe to retire. Yeah.
I'm trying to set up the level for Jeff and Bill and Elon and them, something, that they would
the
be.
Millionaire level.
The billionaire level.
Billionaire level.
Yeah, figure $1 million level is nothing for them, right?
Mm-hmm. What am I going to have to do for that?
Well, no, like I said, I'll go mow their yard once a year.
Seems legit, I think.
I think it's a good deal.
Good deal, yeah.
Plus, they get access to the traceables.
Do they pay for you to drive to fly out, or do they?
No, I'll cover all of those expenses.
Okay. Oh. Okay. I'm just going to continue on here. I just got a bunch of these little doohickeys here to fill in. And honestly, I kind of think I would have preferred having the dark blue underneath, just because it probably would be easier to see what I've done. Like I've got some down here that are really dark. Filling in some of the in-between color with a little bit of this kind of gray, the purple. I just added the purple color to that color I was using there. Okay. I'm going to get some unbleached titanium here and do some of these with the unbleached titanium.
Somebody wants to know if painting the petals is like painting fur or something like that, to where the direction of the stroke is important.
Yes, when you're painting the petal, absolutely. You want to do it in the direction that it grows so that any of the streaks are going in that direction. Okay, so we got most of these filled in. I'm gonna get red and yellow for a few of these in here. This is the cadmium yellow. light. So you can see I've got that darker color down. Now I'm going over with this yellow and going on either side of that light area to create that kind of dark seam down the middle. You see that? Some of that purpley gray to fill in this area. All right, so before I do much more, I need to finish the top here, and then because so many of these are over the top of it, I need to do that first. So I'm going to get the angle, the 1/4 inch angle. This is where that phthalo blue is going to come in. And we're going to glaze with it right here. And I'm not worried about going over the top of my petals there. Cadmium yellow medium here. Okay, I need to let that dry because that is sticky. I'm going to get some of the burnt orange and go in this area with that. Darken up the back side of that. And get some of that yellow. That's somewhat dry. Okay. Putting some white right in here.
Looking pretty sweet over there.
It's coming. Slowly but surely.
Oh, you're talking about the painting. Yeah, the painting is all right. It's it's coming along.
It's all right. Silly. Getting some blue, white. That's the ultramarine blue, or the phthalo blue here. That should be dry enough to do a second coat. And this is pretty bright, so we'll probably tone this down a little bit. But get it on there, get some white, kind of blend back over it a little bit, blend it in.
So we had somebody new to the channel. They got a question.
Okay.
They want to know if we're together as a couple or just good friends.
Oh.
It's like you can be one or the other.
It's like when pick. I love that. It's like when we go to the restaurants and they'd be like, can we split the check? It happened. It was freaky. That happened to us like for, I don't know, like 2 months in a row.
Yeah.
We would go to any restaurant we went to. They'd be like, okay, is this together?
Yeah.
We're like, what about our rings and the fact that we're sitting at a meal together?
I think we were getting along too well.
I think that's what it was. It was throwing them off. They're like, they're obviously on a first date.
Yeah, we're not married.
Yeah. Yes, we're married. 30, how many years now? 32? 32, I think.
32, yes.
Had the anniversary of our first date last month.
Yes. Yes, that was 35 years. Yep.
35 years together. Almost solid through. We did break up for about 2 weeks. Mark went back home. I was living in Arizona, so he followed me from New Hampshire to Arizona. And we're like, that's it. We're breaking up. He went back. He lasted about 2 weeks back, and he can't.
Yeah, she had a spell on me.
He was going to go to college or something. I don't know. It's like, you really obviously don't love me. Miracle. We're still together. Yes. All right. Is Spencer actually playing with the dog, or I can hear him barking? Okay, getting a little bit of ultramarine blue. Distracting. Highlight right there. Ultramarine blue and white. Okay. I am not happy with any of this going on right now, so just we will be remedying it soon. Remedying it. So I'm gonna just take the purple, blue, and go in here real dark. And all these. So I'm just filling in these areas around here. And like I said, it probably would have been easier just to have painted this whole thing that dark blue and then put the purple on, or the yellow on. But this is how we did it, so deal with it. A little bit of this color on that dark hair right there. Okay. I'm going to have glazing over these bottom ones here that we've already done. Adding some dark color to them. Purple. Blending in. This color will be the color that's in between when we do the highlights on top of this. So we've got, kind of our main color in here. I'm just putting kind of this darker purple glaze over all of this. Now, and then we can put some highlight color on and kind of pull the highlights out of these where it's needed. Okay, so just kind of almost dry brushing here, just getting that color on there a little bit, and then I even want a little bit of this purple in the flower itself. There's these little spiky things, and I'm fairly happy with the color that we've got going on here, so I'm just going to go ahead and do these little spiky things, and I'm going to angle them up. I need to flatten my brush out so that I'm getting a good straight edge. This brush is starting to curl up at the tip, which means it's probably getting close to the end of its life. Here, I'm going to need to retire it and get a new one. So they're coming up the side here this way. Paint over everything because I'm not sure where my little things are going to be. Yeah, as it comes around this way, it's going to this is going to be sort of the center here, so they're going to overlap. As I get to the center here, I'm kind of running out of paint, so I'm just letting these be a little bit lighter. And then these ones are going to come this way around. Come almost flat against the edge there.
Which angle brush are you using right now?
1/4 inch. Just touching the very tip down. I wiped off a little bit of that. It was a little too thick. And they all kind of just converge in the middle here. All right. Unbleached Titanium here, and then a little bit of the Quinacridone Magenta, a little bit of that Ultramarine Blue. More magenta than blue. Make kind of a soft, dusky blue-gray. And some of them are going to have a little bit of yellow. So these ones down here are kind of more that mauve tone. Yeah. I am kind of in a quiet mood today, aren't I?
That's okay.
Not much to say, really. This is just a little repetitive.
Just hundreds of hot dog buns.
Yep. Making me hungry.
And which brush is that right now?
This is the 3 round.
Numero 3
Yes.
round.
Yes.
And while you're doing that, somebody asked, do you have any tips for people to try to start drawing on their own?
Yes. There's a book that I recommend called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain, and it's been around for a long time. It's actually was used in the college curriculum when I was at college, and it's one of the best ones I've ever found for learning to draw. It's also it explains kind of how drawing is basically you're training your brain to see things differently. It's not really, we all have the ability to draw. If you can sign your name or, write a letter or whatever, then you have the dexterity, the control of your hand to be able to draw. So it's not about training your hand to do anything with drawing. It's about training your brain to see things. And so you're just having to, observe things more carefully, closely. And so the book talks about all of that and how to start to really be more observant and how to override the part of your brain, the left side of your brain that's trying to tell you when you're drawing something. Basically, your brain has stored images, so that when it sees something, it recognizes it, right? So you see a cup or a flower or something, and you recognize it. You see a tree. If you close your eyes, you can probably imagine, a cloud or something like that. But your imagination, your imagined version of it is never going to be completely accurate. It's going to be kind of a stylized, version, probably a little cartoony if you probably learned that word when you were, 5 or 6 or something. And so that's going to be kind of when it's set in your brain for that word. You've got a symbol kind of stuck in your brain for that word. And so when you're painting an apple, say, and you get to, a place where it doesn't match up with your brain's interpretation of what an apple should look like, your brain is going to start screaming at you that you're doing it wrong. And that's why a lot of people don't draw what they see. They draw what their brain thinks an apple should look like. And that's when, things kind of go off the rails. So, a lot of drawing is just training yourself to ignore the signals that your left side of your brain is trying to tell you and just paint what you see and just really focus and learn how to focus in and just see what's actually there and draw that. So it's a pretty fascinating book and kind of definitely helped me a lot. And I was already kind of liked to draw, but kind of took it to the next level, for me when I was in college. So, and it has all kinds of different things that you can do. So this is yellow and white here. Sorry. Just changing the things up and not telling you. Sorry. It's got all kinds of different, things that you can do to practice and stuff. So pretty cool. It's in my Amazon books section.
Yeah, just going to say there's a link down below the video to Angela's Amazon store. Yeah. Click over there and it's called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if you use our link from our channel to get to Amazon to buy it, it gives us a little bit of a bonus for sending you there. So we appreciate you using our links. Someone said that someone sent me an email just today and said that she's been ordering a bunch of things on Amazon for the COVID because she's been staying home and she's been using our links from our videos. So that was sweet to help give us a little. She's like, I haven't been able to help on Patreon, but that's a way that I can get stuff that it doesn't charge you anything extra, just gives us a little bit of a bonus for sending you to Amazon or wherever. Blick, the brush guys, they're all similar concept. All right. Lots of little hot dogs there. Add a little bit of yellow to some of these. Down here.
Well, I wanted to remind everybody in the middle of the whole 2020 pandemic, if masks are your thing,
oh, yeah.
check out the Teespring store. And there's a bunch of masks, and there's also like fall themed ones there too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you wanted a pumpkin on your face, well, now's your chance.
Somebody did write me, and that they were like, pumpkins are an American thing. They're not. She was from Australia. She's like, we're putting out our spring stuff right now. So thanks for wishing us happy spring, but we're definitely not into pumpkins here. Like, okay, well, good to know. And after I've planned all these pumpkin things for the fall out here, but I'll do the pumpkin videos. So sorry for Australian folks watching, or kind of left you out there. But we do have some flowers in there, so not to worry.
Okay, so back to the question about the drawing.
Yes.
It seems like a question I would ask, but I know it's a serious question. So does it make a difference if you're left-handed versus right-handed?
With drawing, no, it shouldn't. With painting, it can be a little tricky because some of the techniques can be a little bit hard.
But I mean, like, is your right side of the brain the same? Does the same thing no matter if you're left-handed or right-handed?
Yes, I believe so. Yes. Don't think that matters. But I think the left-handed people naturally are. A lot of artists are left-handed, so it's like they say. I don't know. It's true because I'm right-handed, so but that they're more creative or whatever. So you may find it easier. Who knows? I'd be curious to know. You may have more or better pathways to the left side of your brain, or the right side of your brain, I should say, because your left hand is connected to your right side of your brain. So, and the right is controlled by the left side. So, I think that's correct. So you're being left-handed, you're probably more connected to your right side of your brain already than a right-handed person. I think that's probably what that science is all about.
And disclaimer, do not follow our channel for medical advice. Please seek a medical professional.
You could be totally wrong. We might not know at all what we're talking about. So good chance that I just did not say anything correct.
It has something to do with the left hand brain daily boppers and the right hand brain daily boppers.
Yeah, that's about the level of medical knowledge I have. So. All righty. So we've got pretty good stuff going on here. I'm going to get a little bit of that purple glaze again. Maybe a little bit of ultramarine blue this time. And I'm going to start going over some of these with that. Going in here and adding shadows and some separation in between these. Just defining some of them a little bit better. They don't have to be perfect. Going back through here with this. Some phthalo blue here. Some glaze. Let's do some. Actually, getting white here. I think I'm gonna just do it. Add some blue to some of these. And if you flatten out your brush a little bit, you can get kind of like a wider surface to work with. I'm finding that's a little bit easier for some of these. It's not as pointy in the tip of the brush. So we're all going every which way here. I've completely lost my drawing at this point, so I'm just kind of guessing where I'm seeing things. Trying to guesstimate. So what you could do if you wanted to, be sure that you're being accurate with these, you can paint in, partially paint in, and then transfer back on your design, once you get your first layer of color on, and then do your details around that. Be easier to know where you're at, because it can be kind of easy to lose your place here. These are all kind of overlapping so much. All right, so I'm gonna go here. Some of my yellow and a little bit of the Quinacridone Magenta, a little bit of the burnt orange and white.
Okay. Hope you know what they mean. What is the biggest difference between the long round and the round brushes?
Long round just have a longer length to them, so they're more like a script liner almost, but thicker. So they just be for doing lettering mostly, probably. I would probably use them for that. Or lines, longer lines, if you're going to be doing tree branches or something like that, like a long round would work well. But I have one here. I'll pull it out in a second. Show you the difference. Where is it? Here it is. So there's the 2 long round and the, that's the 1. But you get the idea. So there's the difference between the length. It's quite a bit longer. Right. Okay, so I think I've got most all of these, like at least with a couple layers of color on them. So I'm going to get the cadmium yellow light now. Just going to really highlight bright a few of these in here. Get some white. Can't see too much for there. These ones down here, kind of translucent yellow. And then let's add our little stems. So I'm going to get my 3/0 round here. And ultramarine blue, white. I add a little bit of purple to it too. And I don't have to have this too light. They're not super light. But they just need to be light enough to show up, or dark, light enough to show up against this dark area here. So put them through here, connect them. Make sure you're adding enough water to your brush so that you can paint these lines. You have to add quite a bit of water. And the center is going to be right in here. So these are all going to kind of be coming out of right in here and disappearing down into the dark. So we're going to go back over the part where they go down in here with some of that dark Dark purples, don't worry about that if it doesn't match right away. Got that one a little too thick. And some of these are going to go kind of in between, so some of them will, you'll see part of it and then it'll end, and then some of them are going to go right on top of the petal underneath, so, or the little whatever it is underneath. And these are a little bit lighter than what we're going to end up with, so again, don't stress if they're too obvious. We'll fix it. Right? Almost there.
You're doing good.
Thanks. You're making good time.
And a good painting.
Thank you. All right. So the cadmium yellow light with some white here. Just highlight some of these there. Right up front. I really don't hate the color there, so I'm not going to darken it up too much. I'm going to get a little bit of the Quinacridone Magenta on my brush now. Really, ideally, you should wait a few minutes, let this dry completely. Well, actually, I'll let it dry while I do the black, and then I'll come back to do that. So let's go ahead and do the black around the outside. That'll really make a huge difference. Really. Using that edge of the brush will help. You can do it this way along like an edge this way, or you can use it this way and then pull out. Whatever works for you. Again, smooth out any dark, thick ridges. And if we did this color dark enough in here, this should be almost the same darkness as what's in the petals right in this area. I might darken that up a little bit more because it's still not quite dark enough. So when I glaze, I'll darken that up with some black right in there. This area. Black's getting a little bit thick. It's been sitting there 2 hours and I haven't been spraying it as often as I should. Oops, there's part of my brush just fell off. It chips off there because I've obviously left this in water too long at some point, and the wood will swell and crack the paint. So that's why I leave my brushes off to the side like this and just dunk them in the water to keep them moist before I can wash them out well. But keeps them from cracking. I used to leave them in water and I ruined many a brush.
And then we had to deal with questions about what's that on her brush?
Right, because I taped them.
It's just tape.
I've been much better about it in recent years. Now that I have people watching me paint, it's amazing. Much more conscious of what you're actually doing. Bad habits and good.
So somebody had asked a question in the Facebook group this week that we get every once in a while, and is, what do you recommend to clean your brushes with? Mm-hmm. And while there's a lot of, specific products that are out there for cleaning brushes, we found like just simple Dawn dish liquid is great for doing it. Figure if it's safe to clean animals after like a oil spill or something like that, it should be okay for your brushes.
Yeah. Yeah, and it doesn't leave, it doesn't leave a film or anything in them. It's pretty good. So it works pretty well. I'm going to just kind of use very thin edge of that brush and create a line there. Spray those petals a little bit. All right. Yeah, this paint is very thick. Might need a couple layers of this in some places. It kind of went on a little bit thin in a couple places, and I had to thin it out to get to go on smoothly. But man, we got the colors pretty darn close. So right in here, it's just a little bit too light. I want to darken that up to really make it much more dramatic. So I'm going to get some of that black and just use this brush and get up in between these and just going to go around these now. So we got them in. We can see where we need to put this color, and again, just kind of get it on there, and then whatever's left out towards the outside edges. And then I'm going to use it on the bottom of this one a little bit. Darken that up a little. Okay. Very good. Yeah. All right. So now we're going to glaze in here, kind of try to unify everything. I want to add a little bit of the white in here in this center. And I'm just going to dry brush a little bit of white over here. Just got a little bit of white. Here, I'm just going to dry brush it over the top of this and kind of lighten up that center just a little bit right there.
What brush were you using for that blue part?
That was the 6 angle.
Okay.
Or no, yeah, the 6 angle. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, so Quinacridone Magenta and Glaze. Most this off. I'm gonna put some right here. We can put some in some of our petals to tint it a little bit. Might get a little bit of that black. Okay. I don't know what happened to that one. That one, not the right color there at all. I'll let that sit there. I'm going to work up this way. So I'm going to just use this magenta and pretty much do most of this except for the areas where I just want it really bright yellow. I'm going to put this pink over most everything else. It's real subtle, but it will kind of unify everything, kind of tone everything down a little bit. And if I need it darker, like some of these I want a little bit darker, I'm just going to add a little bit more color, maybe a second layer to it. main thing with glazing is you just don't want to go back over an area that's drying with it. So it starts to dry pretty quickly. So just kind of know that going in and just sort of stay away from areas that have started to dry, and they'll dry pretty well. They'll start to get sticky fast. They don't necessarily fully dry very fast, so they'll get sticky, and then you don't want to mess with them. So I'm going to use this dark purple down in here where these are kind of going down in, and kind of vary the stems a little bit. Just get that darkest purple area at the very bottom of all those stems. And I think the key to glazing is just not to have too much on your brush at any one time. So putting it on my brush, but I am not super heavily loading it on here. And that way I can kind of control it a little bit easier. All right, and then once that's done, I'm going to get my 3 around again. And then just go one more time in with maybe some white, some of the blue. And just touch up a few little areas. So just kind of find a few that you want to kind of pull forward. This is kind of thick here, so I'm gonna just highlighting. And you can do that as many times as you want. Put a little color on, glaze a little bit, put a little bit more color on, glaze it some more. You know, you just have to kind of watch that you're not losing all of your dark areas, because you can tend to glaze it or, you know, add too much highlight and then lose all your dark contrast. So if you don't have contrast, just go back in and add some of your darker back in there. But the glazing can help you add some contrast back in if you've done that, if you've, you know, added too many highlights, which is pretty common. I do that all the time. I get going and I don't stop until all of my dark areas are gone. And then I have to add the dark again. All right, I'm going to call that good enough. And stop there. I feel like I probably didn't bring enough of these up high up here. I kind of feel like there's a lot of them that I've missed up and through here, but yeah, because I think some of these, like, it's halfway up. Get a little bit of white here, bring this up a little bit higher. Okay, I'm going to stop. I'm just fussing with it now. But, yeah. I just saw, I took off a little bit of that black right down there.
So close.
So close. You were almost ready. Darken that up a little bit. Okay, let's sign it. Dunk everything in the water now.
Let's do it.
I'm going to use blue, I think.
Yellow script liner.
No, this is the 3/0 round.
3/0 round.
Make sure you're watered down. The paint's watered down. And I'm choked up all the way up to the top so that only the tip is touching down. So I can kind of use it like a pen almost. Takes a little practice, but if you hold it right up, right, I think that if you're having trouble with your lines, a lot of times you may be holding it too relaxed. You really have to hold it almost perpendicular to where you're painting. And if you're holding it like this, you're not going to be able to get the paint to come up around to do these circles. So to do the circles, you have to have it almost directly over it so that you can guide that brush around and it won't skip out on you. It'll push out and skip on the canvas if you don't have it upright. So, all right, there we go. Traceable will be available on patreon.com/AngelaFineArt. And yeah, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe and come back for more. We're going to be doing this again. We do it every Tuesday and Saturdays again this fall. We're
this Saturday too?
To Saturdays too. We've got one Saturday off this month, but not this Saturday. We're working this Saturday.
Okay, I guess.
So I'm just adding a little bit of black right here. So yeah, it'll be fun. We'll see you Saturday. We're going to be starting on our autumn paintings, or continuing, I should say, our autumn paintings. We're working on a autumn landscape with a river and reflections and some water. So I think it'll be fun. So hope you join us for that, and come back and check out the rest of our channel. Got over 450 paintings available on our channel homepage. Click on my name or my photo and I'll take you there, and you can see all the rest of what we have to offer. Lots of free videos. So all right, thanks guys. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.